Let's go! The game has started, guys! Stepharina against Gabs. Let's have a look. Oh my goodness, the ratings are closer than ever. Well, I guess I had a good prediction right there that the match would be really, really close. Hey Chris, how are you doing? Hello, hello. Hey Dijin, welcome! My day has been great. I've been preparing all morning to set things up properly. Okay, we see the king's pawn opening. Oh, bishop c5. Okay, so knight of 3 attacks the pawn on e5. Gabs decides to not protect that pawn, but at the same time, if you take on e5, you allow maybe some queen h4 ideas, like scholars made kind of tactics, so could be really tricky. Bishop c4, just a developing move. Okay. Knight f6. All right. Knight c6 would switch to the Italian opening. This could switch to the Petrov, which is the Russian opening. But I think you can take the pawn, but it's so scary. You're better off just castling. That is absolutely fine. Okay, castles. So the funny thing is that both pawns in the center are hanging, and it doesn't look like there is some sort of follow-up there for either of them. So it's definitely fine to like take them. It's definitely fine. c3. C3 is a great move. It prepares d4. Usually in these type of openings, you want to prepare d4 and take over the center like that. So that's a really good move. Knight takes e4. The pawn has been taken. Will Stepharina decide to take as well? I think when your opponent does something that you can also do, you know, I think you will spot it easier. So I think she will realize that this is a move. But you can also just attack it. You can also just attack it. Make sure that it like leaves the square e4, you know, like it's over half of the board, you know, it can be scary, especially because it is looking right at that pawn. I think for many beginners it is really difficult like to see and like deal with this, because it is often like people often think that it's a big issue, but it's actually not, because okay, let's go move back. Let's go move back. So for example, if it's black to move here and they decide to take, we take it back, bishop takes, king takes, and white will have 2 minor pieces for the rook and pawn, and that is in favor of white because the 2 minor pieces are worth much more than the rook and pawn. Of course, it depends on the game and stuff, but in general, this is the rule that 2 minor pieces are better than the rook and pawn. But rook a1 was played, allowing bishop takes f2, but Gabs played d6, and the knight is hanging. The knight is hanging. Will Stepharina see that? Because I think she played rook e1 with a purpose to attack that knight. Will she see that she can simply take the knight? 2 better than 1. She's taking her time. That's really, really good. Rook takes e4. There we go. She spotted that the knight is simply hanging. It's not defended at all. Now, at the same time, black can play d5 and fork the bishop and the rook, but by moving that pawn up, basically down from our perspective, you also hang this pawn in the center. So it's not really that beneficial for black, but it's always worth a try to do something like that. Knight c6 has been played, a natural developing move. That's all good. At the same time, it also defends e5, so now d5 is even stronger. If Stepharina allows it, then Gabs can just play d5 on the next move. I think a great move for white would be something like d4. You know, in this type of structure, like the queen side is basically undeveloped. And the best way to develop your piece is d4. There we go. She plays d4. Excellent move. It's just like, it's one way, one of the very few ways to develop your queen side, the piece on the queen side. And it opens up the bishop, opens up d2 square for the knight. Obviously, you want to develop the bishop first and then think about where to put the knight. But yeah, this is absolutely great. Great job, d4. And at the same time, it's also attacking the bishop. And you're just trying to control the center like that. Hey, Nikachu, how are you doing? Great to see you. Hello, hello. We will see Nikachu next week in the match against Crescentine. I'm super, super excited for that. Will be great to meet you as well. Bishop b6, okay. Retreating the bishop, that's perfect. So the threat here is d5 once again. It's kind of hard to find a way to properly deal with it. Like, obviously you can play d5 yourself. I'm trying to find a better way because d5 is not optimal, I would say. Maybe you can just take. I guess you can just take and try to trade off pieces as you're up on material. When you're up on material, try to trade pieces. Really important. But bishop g5, I love that move. You know why? First of all, you're attacking the queen. Second, how can you defend this? Usually you want to defend it with a move like f6. Simply because like you don't want to put your queen on an awkward spot. But because of the fact that the bishop is on this diagonal, it is pinning this pawn, which means it can't move. It actually can't move. So it means that you either have to move the queen or, as Gabs played, knight e7. Now the downside to knight e7 here is that pawn on e5 becomes really vulnerable. Like really, really vulnerable. It is now attacked 3 times and only defended once, which means you can simply just take that pawn.
Hi Major, how is your day so far? I hope you are doing well.
Free, thanks for the 4 months. Thank you so much. Welcome back. My day is great so far. Thank you. Thank you. I hope your day is also really, really good. So now the key move, I would say, is just taking that pawn, but things might be getting a little complicated if black plays d5, but Stepharina plays b3. I think she wants to defend that bishop, but it's not really under attack or something. And the main threat is d5. Maybe she tries to defend the bishop by the pawn and like push some c5 move. That would be interesting. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. c5. Okay, c5. It's putting pressure on the pawn on d4, but it is also inviting to take the pawn right there. Not this one, because the pawn on c5 is not attacked many times. It's defended twice, whereas the other pawn is only defended once. b4. Okay. There is some pawn war going on here. There is some war going on here in the center and here on the side of the board. That's really interesting. The pawns are angry. They're all looking at each other like, hello? It's like a staring battle. Okay, so Gabs decided to take on b4. Stepharina takes back. It would be really nice to see d take c5. I think that's really the key move. But I have a feeling that Stepharina wants to block off this bishop, which makes a lot of sense. This bishop is often really, really strong right there. So... Queen c7, attacking the bishop. It is unprotected, so that could be really interesting. Let's see. I guess the best move is just retreating that bishop to b3. And at the same time, you're also stepping out of the threat, d5, once again. will Stepharina see that the bishop is hanging on c4? Really good as well, by the way, is once again taking on e5, because now you open up the rook that will be protecting the bishop. So d takes e5 is also a great move. Queen d3, she defends the bishop with the queen. Great. And she might be thinking of a sneaky move here. She might be considering to play rook h4, threatening queen takes h7 mate. The only problem is that she is now allowing bishop f5. Bishop f5 is a little bit problematic, as you will be pinning the rook that is, and the queen is literally behind there. So that might be a little problematic. d5 has been played, forking the bishop and the rook. But now comes the moment of truth. Will Stepharina play rook h4? She takes on e5. Okay, rook h4 would have been really interesting, as she would be attacking there on h7, threatening checkmate, and it would be interesting. I honestly, it would be such a sneaky move, because Gabs realizes that like there are two pieces hanging, you know, and she will quickly realize that like she wants to take there, and I have a feeling she would quickly take there and like not realize that there's a mate hanging, because it's really hard to spot that. So that would have been a good try. But rook takes e5 has been played, allowing the bishop to be captured. But at the same time, guys, the knight is hanging. The knight is hanging right there. So yeah. That would have been made, yeah. There were many ways to stop that, but it's such a sneaky move. Like, you have to try to create these sneaky tactics, even though they're not, like, clean. Because, I mean, there's many ways they can stop the checkmate. It is hard to spot, like, that there's a checkmate. Like, you can just simply move a piece, you know, like, move the rook right there, and, you know, it doesn't look like you're doing anything there. You just moved it. But it's actually threatening checkmate. And it can be missed very easily. Oh, what's happening? Bishop g4 has been played. Bishop takes e7, taking the knight. Okay. Okay. That is really interesting. So the bishop is hanging, but the rook is also hanging. You could technically take on c4, because the queen will be under attack, and then you can think of moving the rook. She instead moved the other rook. Okay. Okay. This is getting really messy, guys. I'm seeing some back rank checkmate things happen here. Okay, so it would have been really interesting to just take that rook and find a way to enter with your queen on c1. Would have been really interesting to see, because of the fact that the rook and knight are not developed, especially the knight, there might be some back rank problems. Might be. But she took the bishop back instead. Makes a lot of sense. And Stepharina's up on material right now. Up on material. She plays queen e3. The bishop is still hanging on c4. Will Gabs finally take that bishop? The bishop is just chilling there. The bishop is vibing. What a survivor. Bishop takes f3. Okay. Still fine. Oh, she might have spotted some tactic here, guys. If queen takes f3 happens, there might be bishop takes d4, attacking both rooks. She goes for rook e8. Okay, so she's inviting Gabs to take on e8, and if she does that, then it will be checkmate right away. So it's really important to not take it. Just ignore it and do something else. What could you do here? I guess you can just take that bishop, either with the pawn or the queen. It looks a little scary with the queen, but since there are back rank problems on white side as well, you should be fine. You should be fine. Things are getting a little bit too spicy over here. Very, very spicy. Yeah, if bishop takes d4, you can just take that rook, king takes, and then take the bishop back. That will still be fine for white. So Gabs is thinking now what to do.
Anna-Maja, hey people arrive.
Nordertao, thanks for the 13 months on tier 2. Thank you so much, Nordertao. Great to see you. How you doing? Queen C8. Oh god, no. Oh no. That is hanging the queen right away. Oh no. I think she got afraid of this checkmate pattern. She got really afraid of it and she decided to play this. Ooh. That's really scary. Oh, and Stepharina took the queen right away. Oh. That is she jumped. Oh, Stepharina jumped right there. That was so cute. Bishop g4, retreating the bishop. Okay. Oh, this is looking really rough for black. This is looking rough for Gabs. Oh, because now she can simply move the rook and yeah, she's just a queen up. Just a queen and maybe even a rook if she takes there. Oh. Yeah, this is painful. Yeah, suddenly all pieces are disappearing. Stepharina is taking her time. Makes a lot of sense, but she should not burn down her clock until like 30 seconds. Once you hit that 1 minute or 30-second mark, things are gonna be really shaky because like pieces will be flying everywhere. Rook e8, it's a great move. She is preparing things like queen e7, once again inviting Gabs to take the rook. And after queen e7, it is really hard to defend the checkmate, really difficult. I wonder if she sees this. I wonder if she notices this move, queen e7. That would be really cool. She's trying hard to do the back rank. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, bishop d7 would be the best move right here to stop the back rank. And after queen e7, you will be able to take the rook. And then everything will be fine. She plays bishop d7! Wow, that is huge. That is really impressive. Bishop d7 is not an obvious move at all, but she's stopping all sorts of back rank checkmates right there. Wow, that's really impressive. Actually, what's even better after queen e7 is you can take on e8, and if queen takes e7, okay, it's not a checkmate, it's almost. This bishop is ruining so much for the back rank checkmates, so if Gabs is able to take it, to take the bishop, she should. She should do that. Stepharina still thinking about her move. She is getting closer to 1 minute. Anything can happen when you're low on time. Literally anything can happen. The clock is really scary indeed. What Stepharina now should do is just simplify, take all of Gab's pieces, and then figure out a way to checkmate. So rook takes f8, perfectly fine. Make sure that your opponent doesn't have enough pieces to come back, you know? Taking the pawn and, yeah, developing the piece is really important. C4 bishop is immortal. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? I love it. There you go. Bishop takes d5. Okay, good job. I think she should be aware of her clock situation. When you hit the 1 minute mark, like it says like it makes this clock noise like, hey, be aware of like your clock. You're in like, you're not in huge trouble, but like in slight trouble if you're gonna spend more time. Gab's taking her time as well. There's not much she can do here. The best she can do is just survive and make sure she doesn't lose pieces. Which might be a little bit inevitable, but, you know, you gotta try to make the best of it. Bishop d8, that's a really good move. That's a really good move because, you know, the more pieces are closer to your king, the better. So she might be able to, like, extend the checkmate, you know? Yeah, the bishops are doing really well, yeah. Yeah. Sadly, there are not other pieces to, you know, make the position better. A rook would be really useful over here. Imagine if there was like a rook on c7 or like on the c file or e file. That would have been crazy. h5, knight c3. Finally developing the queen side, making sure that, you know, you can checkmate at some point. Because without the rook and the knight, it might have been a little bit difficult. You really need to use all of your pieces in the game. Ashley, you're hoping to see it, right? Those things might become really, really exciting. But so far, Stepharina is doing really well, keeping things very solid and, you know, just developing. Really good. Bishop h4, okay. Good move. d5, okay, good. Pushing that passer. The bishops are really annoying. Like, you want to give them a check on e7 or e8, but the bishops are simply covering all of these squares, so it's a little difficult. Time trouble incoming. Both players around 1 minute. It's getting really tense. f6 has been played. Okay. Freeing up some square for the king. But the problem is that you are blocking your bishop that was originally defending the square on e7. So now rook e1 actually threatens queen e7 check, taking the bishop and making things much easier for you. Bishop g5 attacking the queen. I have a feeling she spots queen e7. I have a feeling she prepared this move. There we go, queen e7. Queen e7, king j8 is the only move. And I'm pretty sure Stepharina will take that bishop. Below 30 seconds, Stepharina needs to hurry up a little bit. Things are getting shaky over here. Okay, now she will get another warning, I think. I'm not too sure, but she's below 20 seconds. She has to move. Oh my gosh, 10 seconds. Oh god. The time! Oh my god! That was a 0.1! I swear I saw 0.1! Oh my god! Oh my god! I really thought the flag was coming. Oh my god! Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Okay, I hope she keeps up the speed now because she really needs to hurry up. 1. Oh my god, she's giving me heart attacks right here. Oh. Come on, Stepharina, you got this. No! No. No. Oh, poor Stepharina. Oh, it's so hard to deal with the clock. It's so difficult. Oh. That's a win for Gabs. Oh my gosh. Oh, so sad. Alright, I think they will start a rematch soon. Can Stepharina come back from this? We have the second game up. Let's see what's gonna happen. we don't see a move yet. G4, we see the grub. Hello there. We see the grub. Inspired by Alessia, maybe? That's hilarious. Bishop G2. Oh. Oh. I gotta ask Alessia something. I have questions. Oh my grub. Wow. That's impressive. I wonder if she knows how to play it now. I know there's some c4 ideas, but with knight c6, I'm actually not sure. Like, I guess you just defend the pawn now. C3, okay, yeah, I have not really much to say about this other than I guess it's fine. I guess it's fine and it works, you know? Knight f6, okay. Stepharina, like, even though you don't know this opening at all, you just follow the basic principles. You develop your pieces, control the center, and at some point you castle. Just follow that. You know, whenever you're lost, whenever you're like, what is my opponent even doing? Just follow the basic principles and you will be fine. You'll be fine. The worst thing that can happen is that you get, you know, checkmated, but that barely happens. I mean, if you follow the principles, I don't actually think you can get checkmated. Something must go really wrong then, but if you lose a piece by just following the principles, I think it still should be fine. Then they take my queen. It wasn't so fun. Oh. Now it would be fun to see. It would be fun to see some move like g5. The knight has to move, and it might need to go to like an awkward spot. Then you can take on e5, and it opens up the queen towards the pawn that will be available to take for free. That might be interesting. Also, the pawn is hanging on g4, so you might want to consider moving that. Or defending it. Now, usually f3 is not recommended. F3 is not recommended because, as you can see, it allows the queen to go to h4 and check the king right there, as well as the bishop there is not looking very happy. You're blocking the bishop, and bishop is very upset because it wants to be on an open diagonal. It wants to be like, you know, looking at this pawn on d5. But now it's looking at their own pawn, and, you know, they want to guard them. Of course they want. But there's more that they want. It's not the pawn, it's a bishop. So, yeah. Sad bishop, yeah. Bishop d6, great move. But yeah, it's very understandable. F3, it defends the pawn on g4. A move that I would have recommended is h3. H3 instead of f3. Or obviously g5, much better. But yeah, it's not easy to move the pawn like that. It's not easy. Bishop g5, okay. Okay, pinning that knight. It's a good move. Pinning that knight, and also it's not allowing the queen h4 idea anymore, so way to go. What opening did Steph do? So basically, Gabs started with the grub. Not sure where she got this from. There is a streamer, a chess streamer, that plays the grub, and like, I mean, you could always almost call it something like the grub gambit Alessia variation or something. Troll opening. Yeah, I just wonder if she got this somewhere from Alessia, or like that would be really funny. H6, bishop h4, fantastic move. You know, you opened up this diagonal, but if your bishop is gonna be on g3 or on h4, then things will be fine. She played the grub against you. Ah, that's hilarious. The structures look pretty solid. Yeah. Yeah, I fully agree. What I do like about Steph is that she is really following the basic principles. Like, as you can see, her pieces are well developed. Bishop e6, fantastic move. Her pieces are so well developed. She's controlling the center, and then her next step will basically be castling. And look how much better her position is compared to White's position, where the pieces are all over the place. It's hard to develop the knights. The center, White center, it's a little odd, especially because of the g4 move, you know. It's not too bad, but there is a reason why Black is better here. There is a reason, and that reason is she just followed the basic principles and her position is perfectly fine. g5 has been played. Now, you can think here of a move like knight h5, and the reason why knight h5 is good is because you're pinning this pawn. Now, that sounds crazy, right? Knight h5 and the pawn is pinned here. But the bishop here on h4 is undefended. Imagine if that pawn moves, then this queen will be looking straight to that bishop right there, and you will just lose that bishop. And also after knight h5, you're threatening to take on g5 because the queen will be defending the pawn right there. So knight h5 would have been really interesting. H takes g5, bishop takes g5. Yeah. This is still good for Black because your rook is on an open file. That's where they belong. And yeah. Looks really good for Black. Bishop e7, great move, really solid, making sure that, you know, like, this pin is not gonna be bothering you sometime. So you're just defending that, that's great. Knight a3. Gabs is trying to find a way to put the knight on a better spot. Now, the problem with knight a3 is since the bishop is on this diagonal, you can just simply take it and ruin your opponent's pawn structure. It's very annoying to have doubled pawns on the side of the board. It's really, really disturbing. But yeah, you don't really have to go for it. It's just, you know, like how you can annoy your opponent. Queen e7 and long castle, that would be great. Queen e7 and long castle, that would be great, yeah. Steph is taking her time. So she basically, like, besides the castle thing, she did everything that she had to do. And as soon as, like, you're approaching, like, the moment you have to castle and stuff, you're trying to think of a plan, you know? Like, what do I do? What is happening? And it's not so easy to figure out a plan here because the position is pretty close. And in a close positions, it's not easy to find a plan. But she plays Queen e7, and it looks like she will be preparing long castle. She is preparing it. And I think she will go for that. I definitely think she will go for that. Knight b5, okay. So this looks like a scary move, knight b5. But if you look closer, it looks like there's no threats at all. If Black wants to play a6, they can, and the knight has to go back. So, yeah. It looks scary because, like, it's over, like, half of the board. These kind of moves look scary, but they're not actually doing anything at all, so... Steph always says, when in doubt, castle. Nice one. I like that. I like that. It's always good to castle, really, because, I mean, there in some positions, your king is better off just staying in the center of the board. In this position, I would say it's even fine to not castle, but I feel like the king will be much better placed on the side of the board, especially on b8, and yeah. And then, like, figure out what to do next. a6 has been played. Wow. Really nice job. Stepharina quotes, writes it down. Nice. Knight a3. Now bishop takes a3 is a threat once again, but it's not really like a must or something. So she can just continue with long castle. Yeah, you can really see like the difference, you know, and you can really see like how well Stepharina like you know has these skills. Has the skills to, you know, put up a nice position. The time is very worrying. True, true. We are below. Well, Stepharina is below 5 minutes. Gabs has still around 7 minutes. We are past move 12 now. And things are not very easy. Yeah, things are not very easy. Oh. Not again, no. That would be really sad, yeah. We believe in her. We believe in her. We will, you know, if she loses on like position, based on the position, okay. But we believe that she's not gonna flag. Not this time. Let's go. Ooh. 3 minutes. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm starting to get really worried about the clock right now. Knight e4. Wow. Okay, that is really surprising. So it's not winning, like it's, oh, okay, so knight e4 is losing a piece. If you take on e7 first, queen takes, and then you can take the knight, that would be losing a piece, but it allows you, like, you're opening up the position and you might be able to like trick your opponent so easily there. Because you can play queen h4 check, the king has to move and will not be able to castle, and the white pieces are very, very underdeveloped. So knight e4, I like it. It allows a lot of practical chances. F takes e4, bishop takes g5. This is absolutely great because this bishop will be killer. It can go to e3. Okay, knight f3. I was gonna say that it can go to e3 and maybe you can play queen e7, queen h4, but Gabs defends that by playing knight f3 and you cannot access h4 anymore. But it does not take away that the bishop can be really annoying on f4. And this king might become a little bit shaky over there. Yeah, exactly. True. D takes e4 is in the air, indeed. D takes e4, this pawn takes that pawn. She plays bishop f4, accent move. Look how well placed the bishop is. And at the same time, she's also defending this pawn on e5. Yeah, you love it, you love it. It's so unfortunate, like I'm I'm left-handed. So like if I hold my mug like this, you don't see anything. It's a little unfortunate. So yeah, that's why I'm holding it like this. Rook b1. Okay. That's a fine move. That's a fine move. Bishop takes h2. Ooh. The problem is that that pawn is defended was defended twice. So Gabs can just take it back, and Steph can't take that knight because the rook protected. But once again, it's not the worst thing because look how vulnerable that king is. It is sad we don't have the bishop anymore on f4, but we can still make the best out of this. So Gabs is up on material right now. Will she able to convert this to a win? Stepharina down to 2 minutes on the clock. It feels weird to hold it like this. I don't know, like... I mean, it's less bad than when I write with, like, the opposite hand. But it just feels weird. Long castle. Okay, there we go. So, Stepharina's king is perfectly safe. Gabs's king, however, really unsafe. But the time situation is in Gabs's favor, like, by a lot. Hey, Skrulls, how are you doing? Hello. Me too, Asrier. High five. High five. Me too. Me too. Thank you. B3 has been played. Now the knight is not defended anymore, so you could try to attack it if you want to. It's quite a sneaky move, and at the same time you're threatening a check. Might be really scary for Gabs. D takes e4. Okay, perfectly fine. Getting rid of some pawns in the center. As long as Steph doesn't flag, we accept everything. Just don't flag, just move. Just gotta move. I'm not sure. Like, I know that she's speeding it up already. She's speeding it up. So that's good. Knight c4. Okay. When the clock hits 1 minute, she really needs to play, like, just play moves. Just play. Like, basically, like, the first move that comes in your mind, and you just gotta make sure that you're not, like, blundering a checkmate or something. Just gonna move it. E takes d4. Alright. Looks good. You're nervous? We are nervous too. Everyone is nervous. Pawn takes. Will she take that pawn, or will she take the knight? I think knight takes would be great. Queen takes would be great too, but the problem is, like, you're removing the queens off the board. You're trying to trade off the queens, but will that be beneficial for Stepharina? With the queens on the board, she has better chances to checkmate. And since the king is in the center, you want to keep the queens on the board. But at the same time, it might be easier for Stepharina to play without the queens on the board. So she's not afraid to blunder them. You believe in Steph clutch? Okay, we'll see. Clock is really evil, yeah. Son of a bears! Thank you so much for gifting a sub. Thank you, Bears. How's it going? Great to see you. That is really, really nice of you. Thank you. Knight f3. Oh, guys, there. Oh, it's not a checkmate yet. Queen c3 checks. She played it almost instantly. Really good job. And oh my gosh, guys, the queen is hanging on d1. Screws. Haha. Haha. See what you did there. She defends it with knight d2, but now you can either take that one or you can put even more pressure on that knight. Both are perfectly fine. Things are getting really excited over here, guys. 92 was an excellent move. Stopping the check and blocking this file. Making sure that the queen is defended. Ooh, queen f6. Okay, as long as Steph is not flagging, any move works, honestly. Intense game, for sure, yeah. There's a lot at stake here, you know? If Gabs wins this game, it's over for Steph. If Steph manages to make a draw or win, then, you know, anything can happen in the third game. Rook c1. Oh no, we're approaching a 20-second mark. Ah! Oh no. E3, okay. Perfectly fine. Imagine if she's able to do this, guys. Imagine. That would be excellent. Queen f4, queen g3, queen f2. That is checkmate if white doesn't do anything about it. Stop keeping us on the edge of our seats. Hell yeah. Yes, she only has 21 seconds left. She has 5 seconds of increment, but it's really difficult. It's really difficult because she hasn't been making moves quicker than 5 seconds. Ooh. Yeah, it's good. I see Steph thinking during Gabs' time, which is really good. Maybe she can think of a move during Gabs' time. Rook c4. Okay, she's actually stopping queen f4. Ooh, okay. Oh, Steph. She took the rook. She took the rook. Nice spot. Okay. Very good. Okay, she took the knight. Very good. Would have been really nice to see this mate because then, like, it would have saved her so much pressure. But this is perfectly fine. Oh, the queen is hanging now. Rook takes d2. Now, this rook is hanging as well. So, Gabs needs to take this rook first. Oh, she does not take it because it would have been with check. Knight takes d2. Now, this rook needs to move. You can also give a check on a1. 6 seconds. Oh. Okay, she just moved the pawn. Perfectly fine. Just move at anything you can. Anything you can. Just move. Your heart. Oh. It's getting really, really close. You're sweating. Oh no. Any move is better at this point. Exactly. Any move is better at this point. Gotta make sure that you spend your time during your opponent's time when your opponent is thinking. A4 has been played, stopping the pawn. Oh no. Rook e8. Perfect. Perfectly fine move. Perfect. 7 seconds. Oh gosh, this is getting really scary. She almost needs a pre-move at this point. Queen e5. She almost instantly played that move. She is threatening checkmate, guys. Will Gabs stop the checkmate? Will she see that there's a checkmate on the board? It is threatening checkmate. Will Gabs notice that? Ooh. A move like bishop f3, or even if the king runs away, then, I mean, it's not the best move, but you avoid the checkmate. Bishop e4, stopping the checkmate. Oh my goodness. That is a brilliant move, actually. That is a brilliant move. She plays the check. Okay. She is speeding up. That is great to see. She can actually pre-move at this point. Like, right now in this position, she can pre-move because the king needs to move either this side or that side. She does another check. Perfect. Gabs at the same time is also below 30 seconds right now. So we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see like a really, really bullet kind of game now. Time's getting closer. Gaps below 20 seconds now. She needs to play King E1 in order to defend the knight. Otherwise, she's gonna lose a piece. King E1 has been played. She sees it. Queen E5 instantly played. Great job. We love to see the speed. Oh no, Gabs! Oh no, Gabs! This time Gabs flagged. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's 1-1, guys. It's 1-1. Oh my goodness. The match is tied. We are moving to the third game. We hate time in this game. Stepharina saying they're talking in the chat in chat.com and they're stressing so much. Oh my god, this is so exciting. This is really, really exciting. Okay, I'll start. I started the game. Because so she actually said something in the game chat, and I saw it from her stream, but like I can't see it anymore because basically I messed up my layout or something. I don't know how, but yeah, I jumped to another game basically. Oh, it was because of the accidental new game. And yeah. So I wasn't viewing the game anymore. But we are a new game, guys. Stepharina's playing with the white pieces. Gabs is playing with the black pieces. And we see that Gabs has changed their opening. She changed the opening up. She's playing b6, c5. Okay. E4, d4. Yeah, I like that Stepharina is always like taking control of the center, like following these basic principles. It's really, really good to see because, you know, it gives you really nice positions. If this is draw, I honestly don't think we're gonna see a draw. I highly doubt we're gonna see a draw. I highly doubt it. But you never know. You never know. If there's gonna be stalemate, that's gonna be crazy. Your money's on time win. What are the odds? No, but honestly, it's really remarkable that in the previous two matches, there was no time win at all. And in this match, we only have time wins. That's pretty crazy. I did mention that the games would be very close, that the match would have been really, really close. But it was actually guess. And I guess, I mean, looking at the ratings as well, it looks like they are indeed very, very close. So yeah. Thank you, Smashing Ain. Thank you. If there's a checkmate, you will gift the sub. Ah, that's sweet. That's sweet. Knight a6. Okay. The knight is going for an adventure around the board. Not too bad. Bishop c4. Okay. I love how Stepharina is never scared of moves like knight b4 and just simply plays a3, kicks the knight out of there, and, you know, she's fine with it. She's fine with it and dealing very well with that. Alright, what is Gabs gonna do? Is she gonna play bishop b7? That would be a logical move. d6 would also be fine. It's gonna be scary if Steph is able to play e5. You know, she's gonna take so much space. h5. Oh, I'm not a huge fan of that move because if you're gonna push your pawns on both sides, at some point you just can't castle because you have weakened so many squares. So h5 is not recommended, but Who knows what will happen? Who knows what will happen? Let me close some tabs that I don't need because my... Okay, let me close this. Okay. Okay. So it's funny, like I stream, it looks like it's, yeah, it's fine. It looks like it's fine. It's getting a slightly laggy, not too much, but slightly laggy, slightly. G6, okay. Bishop E3, G6. Steph is just following the rules. Really, really good to see that. D6, Queen D5. Oh. Oh, that would be really cool. D6, and then if Queen D5 is possible, you're attacking the rook and the pawn. And if you are able to take that pawn, it's checkmate even. So D6 would be crazy. Queen D3, she's putting pressure on that knight again. Okay. This is really good. 2 attackers, 1 defender. That is in your favor. Bishop takes a6. Oh, that does blunder indeed the knight. Rook h7 move. So now Stepharina just took the knight right away. And she is a knight up. If bishop takes a6, you simply take it back. No center, no knight. Yeah, oh. That's gonna be difficult. This is why it's important to follow like the principles of chess. Like these, they're basically like 3 golden rules, so to say. As I mentioned many times, you gotta control the center. You gotta with your pawns, you gotta develop your pieces. The knights out, bishops out, and then a castle, and then everything else follows after that. You know, like you can start thinking of a plan and so on. And that's exactly what Stepharina is following, and you see like how easy it is for her to play, whereas Gabs is struggling. Like, what can I do? Because knight f6 right now, like, it's a good developing move, but what are you gonna do about e5? The knight will have to move again, and look how much space Stepharina will be getting there. She has so much space, whereas Gabs is struggling a little bit, you know, like all pieces are tied up together. Really difficult to deal with that. True, Steph is up on time right now. That is true. Bishop b5. Okay, I would have I would have suggested bishop takes c8 simply because if you're up on material, just trade pieces, trade everything down. You want to simplify it for yourself, and then you can win more easily. But bishop b5, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. You think Steph's nerves have calmed down now? Probably, yeah. Yeah, it also takes a little bit of time to get in there, you know? Like, I feel like especially when you're already, like, doing it and, like, you know, you're like, already, like, in the mindset of, like, okay, I'm busy with this, you know? You're not focused on, like, anything else. You're just focused on this, and take some time, but eventually you'll get there. And then the nerves reduce. Yeah. If there's a draw in this game, then we will move on to Blitz, which will be... Honestly, I'm scared for both of them. I'm scared for both of them. Then we will go to Blitz. It will be 3 + 2. 3 minutes with 2 seconds of increment. Short castle, okay. Okay. Good move. So far, so good. F5. Ooh, I'm not a fan of that move. It allows pawn takes, queen takes. And look how vulnerable the king is over there. Ooh, I'm not too sure about that. And she takes it. She takes it right away. Wow. Ooh. This is looking very difficult for Gabs. At least not bullet, true. That would be torture, really. I mean, blitz is already hard enough. Oh, this is not looking good for Gabs. Bullet is a coin flip, yeah. True. Okay, Gabs decides to not take it, which makes a lot of sense because if she would have done that, then the queen would get closer and it would be really scary. But at the same time, there's f takes g6, rook has to move, and you can still enter. It might be less easier to like create some threats there, but it's still really scary. King insecure instead of vulnerable. That was hilarious. Wow. That's funny. Hello, Gazmac TV. Welcome. Hello. So queen f5 I would recommend because you're simply threatening a checkmate on f7. And it's on black to decide like how to deal with that and making sure you're not gonna get checkmated. You know what would also be a killer move? Knight g5. Knight g5 with the idea to play knight e6, and guess which piece is absolutely trapped and hopeless? The queen. The queen will be under attack. The pawn is pinned by the bishop, and you can just simply take the queen over there. 95. Oh no! Oh no, 95. I mentioned knight g5, not knight e5. She wants to go for knight f7, I think, but sadly this move drops the knight because knight takes or bishop takes are in the air. Ooh. Ooh. That's scary. That's very scary. But yeah, once again, okay, bishop takes e5 happened, and Gabs looking at the pawn on h2. So the thing is that Gabs took the piece back, so now it's almost equal material again. Stepharina is still up 2 pawns, but also her king is much safer. Like, even though h2 is hanging, what is the worst thing that can happen if black takes on h2? Like, the king is so safe there. I would say it's pretty unbelievable if there will be a checkmate here on white. Whereas the black king is very, very vulnerable. I mean, it's just very uncomfortable there. You can barely castle. You can actually, if you want, I guess... Oh, you can't castle. You can't castle because the rook has moved already. The rook has moved already, so you can't castle. G7 has been played. Oh my goodness, what is happening? G7 has been played, opening up the G6 square for the queen. Bishop takes h2 check. Stepharina has only one move, king h1, but the threat here is queen g6 checkmate. Will Gabs stop that move somehow? Actually, I'm not too sure because the rook is also hanging. Wait a second. Might this be over already? I think you have to play king f7 to try to survive, but this is not looking good for Gabs. How do you defend both these threats at the same time? There's checkmate on the board! Queen g6 checkmate. Will she play queen g6? Checkmate on the board. Will she spot this? It will be game over. She does it! Stepharina just did that. She did that. Queen g6 checkmate. She spotted that and she has won the match. She won the match and advances to the semifinals. Congratulations to Stepharina. Wow. Wow, that was insane. That was absolutely insane. Congratulations to Stepharina, and GG's to Gabs for, you know, she played so well. She tried her best and just wonderful.